if you've been watching politics this week, there was a brouhaha in the Senate when One Nation founder Pauline Hanson sought to revive her bill banning trans issues in schools. Senator Hanson has concerns about the education system, including Marxism, critical race theory, climate change and gender fluidity. I'm with her on all of those things. But of course, this triggered the usual suspects, including a new Green senator who took great offence because she was a school teacher of 30 years. Well, there's no surprises there. Penny Allman-Payne said the bill was an insult to teachers.
I rise to speak on the Australian Education Legislation Amendment prohibiting the indoctrination of children Bill 2020. This bill seeks to put restraints on what teachers of health and physical education and sexual education, science and humanities can teach in their classes. It's not about balance, it's about hate and propaganda. We, as teachers, teach to the curriculum that we are provided.
See, I always thought there were restrictions on what teachers were allowed to teach in the classroom for good reason. And just to point something out, Senator, the Greens always cherry-pick the bits of science they want to promote. Teachers do the same. They also discriminate between others based on race, skin colour and gender identity. You see, that's why the Greens are always condemning old white men, the patriarchy, Christianity, heteronormativity and, of course, those catastrophic climate non-science people. It's why they're always, the Greens that is, promoting mystical minorities, gender fluidity and a loathing of Australia's historical underpinnings. And having so many teachers welded to the Green view of the world, like Senator Allman-Payne, that might explain why our education system has been going backwards for 30 years. Coincidentally, the time the Senator was a teacher herself. And it's not surprising that one who represents the system is also going to defend the indefensible and attack those who seek to redress the imbalance. Our education system is a mess. Literacy and numeracy is subordinate to woke activist brainwashing and, of course, that gender-bending ideology. And that the Greens defend this rubbish tells you all you need to know about what is really going on. Well, not everyone in the Senate thinks like that Green. I'm delighted to say one of the clear thinkers there is Pauline Hanson, and she joins me now. Pauline, it's really nice to have you on, Bernardi. Tell me, why did you introduce this bill when it was rebuffed in the last Parliament?
Because I won't give up on it, Cory. I think we need to address it, honestly. Parents are constantly coming to me and with their concerns of what their children are being taught. Cory, since COVID-19 happened and lockdown of the classrooms, and parents then had the opportunity to see what their kids are being taught, they are horrified. We've had a huge increase of actually now parents teaching their own children at home because they don't like what's being taught in the classrooms. We had a lot of teachers come through the system. They say, oh, well, we've given a curriculum of how to teach. A lot of teachers also complaining that they don't have the standard curriculum. They've got to go and chase what they need to teach. And there is a failure in the education department, and I think this right across the whole country. But we've seen a dropping in the standards of children in our classrooms in how they read and write, and their whole general knowledge is pathetically poor compared to other countries. It has to be addressed, but I'm sick and tired of being taught about, I spoke to my own grandson last week and I said, do you hear this about, can you choose whether you want to be a boy or a girl? And he said, oh yes, we do hear that. He said one boy in another class, a couple of years older than him, he said he's chosen now to be a girl. And the teacher says, oh, you can be whatever you want to be. And I said, how do you feel about it? He said, I think it's stupid. He said, I'm a boy. And, you're hearing this from people and they push this on the kids. It is not, let kids be children. It is not up to teachers to fill their heads with this bloody rubbish. It is up to the parents to decide, let the kids grow up, let them make up their own minds once they've passed puberty, and then, then let them make up their own minds.
That's exactly right. Teach them to read, Pauline. Teach them how to do basic maths. Give them spelling skills and let them inquire and explore things. We don't have to indoctrinate our children. This is the great challenge. And I'm so glad you pointed out that so many parents have woken up to it from this homeschooling during the COVID lockdowns. It was just an extraordinary revelation.
Yep.
But what gets me is the Greens, Pauline, have been defending this nonsense for 20 years as the kids have been going backwards, and you try and introduce some sense into this and you get that 30-year teacher who can't be proud of what's happened in the education system saying that you're wrong.
Cory, it's not only the Greens, it's also the Labor Party, and then you have some of the woke that are in the Liberal Party as well. I also moved this week that there be a Senate inquiry into gender dysphoria. It's got nothing to do with legislation. Parents have come to me because of their concerns about what's happening to their children. They've lost control of their children. The states want to take their children away from them if they disagree with their children to having puberty blockers or having cross-sex hormones. And yet they're losing their rights over this. And yet they voted it down. Do you know that your former party colleagues, 4 of them voted with the Labor, quite a few of them absolutely abstained. They're pathetic. There was a Senate inquiry, yet they did not support or vote, and they're supposed to be conservative. This is what you're facing on the floor of our parliament. It's not representing the people of this country. It's just an investigation. Let the people come forward, give the evidence. I may be wrong, but the parents approached me. They approached all the members of parliament. They wanted this to have this inquiry, and they voted it down. It's like you go along with the way that we tell you must think in this country. We're telling you, the nanny state, you won't have a voice in Australia. And unless I keep pushing this, and I keep pushing the Liberals and forcing the governments of this nation to actually look at what the people want, nothing will change.
Yeah, unfortunately, Pauline, you're exactly right. I can't believe they've blocked an inquiry into such an important information gathering exercise to establish the truth. Maybe they're frightened of the truth. But we're lucky you're not, Pauline Hanson, Senator Pauline Hanson, I should say. Thank you so much for joining me on Bernardi tonight. More strength to your arm.
Corey, maybe you should actually come back into the parliament. Common sense, okay? You're doing a great job on your show. Get back into the parliament.
I'm suddenly speechless, but I'm happy here. I'll put it out to a poll. All right. Thanks. Have a great weekend.